Hello, beautiful soul. My name is Milani, and welcome to my channel, which is called Energy Matters. And this is the first of a whole bunch of videos that I'm going to be making to help you elevate your life by providing some practical soul path wisdom, some information, and just practical stuff about energy, which is affecting you, and you might not even know it. Tools, tips, techniques, all sorts of things. So it's going to be a fun journey, and I'm very excited to start it. So for this first video, I was called this week to really work with this in my own life. And the title of the video is 4 Ways in Which Your Space is Keeping You Stuck Energetically. So you probably have a dream in terms of what your life what you want your life to be like. You've got stuff that you're manifesting, that you're working towards, and you probably know that it's important to have the correct mindset, to be clear on what it is that you're trying to achieve, to take inspired action towards that every day. But what you might not realize is that your energetic space, the space around you, your house, the building, the physical space in which you are operating, has a huge effect on your ability to actually manifest that stuff. And so I want to, from practical experience, just give you 4 ways in which that is impacting you, as well as some tips and tools in terms of how do we change that to have that space no longer impact us negatively energetically, but helping us to elevate our vibration, our frequency, our whole game. So I want to start by putting this into 4 different sacred containers. And the first container that I'm going to be discussing is, do you know that the stuff that you own is energetically heavy? You might think that you've put stuff away in cupboards, in storage. It's, you don't see it, you own it, but you've put it away, you've stored it somewhere. It's not within your eyesight every day as you move about your life. But you are almost like a energetic ball of twine, and you are energetically connected to every single thing that you own, that you have not released. And so when you are coming or working in a space where there's lots of stuff, that stuff weighs you down energetically. And so when you, for instance, there was this huge trend, I think it was last year or the year before even, where everybody was Marie Kondoing all of their houses, your cupboards and your stuff. And I went through that as well. I also followed her process. And what I like about her process, beyond other organizational people and techniques and ways of approaching it, is her whole approach of figuring out whether something sparks joy in you. And if it does, then you keep it and it is stored correctly and in a beautiful way that honors that thing. Or if it's not, if it doesn't give you joy, then you're releasing it, you're blessing somebody else with it, you're paying it forward, you're releasing it. And there's an energetic subtext to the whole Marie Kondo thing about just keeping stuff in our life, in our space, that gives us joy, because that raises our vibration. And the stuff that no longer gives us joy, the stuff that's old, broken, torn, that's not used, that has maybe some bad memories, that stuff we release. And by doing that, we elevate our space and we elevate our whole vibration. And so the less stuff you have, the higher your vibration can be, because there's no stuff keeping you anchored down, keeping you attached, needing upkeep, and so on. So one of the best ways to shift your whole life around is to start clearing out old stuff and donating that, because there's also a manifestation principle in terms of which you're giving, and then you're opening, you're creating space to receive new stuff. And so that's a beautiful thing. And if you haven't done so already, it's maybe time to look at what is the stuff that you can give away that's weighing your energy system down by just being there, even if it's hidden in a cupboard, even if you haven't looked at it for years. There's releasing that stuff is so powerful. So that's why we feel better. You'll feel the shift in your energy when you've cleared out that old junk cupboard, your garage, your all of the cupboards that we stuff the stuff in, and that are chaotic. The chaos of that subconsciously is connected to our energy system, and it makes us feel chaotic and unclear. And the more space and serenity and harmony we can create, the more that will reflect in us as well. So that's the first container in terms of where your environment, your space that you're in, can actually be keeping you stuck, because there's just too much stuff, and the stuff that is there is not organized, it's chaotic. The second container that I want to just add is buildings are receptacles for energy. They absorb our energy. And so I used to be a real estate agent. And one of the things I did when I did a house handover, I didn't even tell my clients, because not everybody is on the same wavelength and knows about this stuff. But I used to do a house clearing energetically before I handed it over to the new people. And time again, when the new owners would take the keys from me and walk into the space that had been cleared energetically, they noticed the difference. Even if they weren't that spiritually aware or energetically aware, or they weren't energy empaths, they all remarked on how clean and nice it felt. And they all ascribed it to the other people, the previous people's furniture having been removed, etc. And that does make a difference. But the main difference was the fact that the house had been cleared, that all of the energy had been taken out, the previous stuff, and it was like a blank slate on which they could now start building their memories. So it's important to realize that emotions, which is energy in motion, sticks to stuff and can be absorbed. And so part of my energy hygiene system is to actually do a clearing of my personal space, my house, on quite a regular basis, especially if there had been an argument, if a stranger had come into the space, maybe with their own energy. And it really pays to be more energetically aware of how does the space around you feel, and especially those dark nooks and crannies. It's almost like there's stagnant energy that can sometimes collect there that we have to clear. So there's various ways in which you can do it. You can actually use sound, clapping. You can ask Archangel Michael, and use white light and stuff to actually do it. But I like to do it on a physical level as well. And there's 3 things that you can use. So I never really use it, but you can use incense. I live in South Africa, so we have our indigenous wise elders use mpepu, which is what this is. It's a shrub that grows naturally and that you can use to clear your spaces. You can use sage. That's another tool that we use, but what I prefer for me, which is the most powerful one, is to use Palo Santo wood. And so if you haven't cleared your house or your office, your business space recently, maybe have a think about doing that. And also realize that when you clear it, you're taking away all the energy. So it is the energy will be neutral. So we add back positive energy using crystals or music that's high vibration, or laughter, something like that, and we start building up positive energy again once we've taken out, because you take out everything when you do a clearing. And so it's important to realize that buildings are receptacles for heavy emotion, and that we need to be aware of that. So the third sacred container that I want to use to discuss this topic is the need to move stuck energy. So if you are working on a project, you feel stuck, the inspiration is not flowing. I know when I wrote my first book, I had lots of those days where it just felt I was sitting there and I'd committed to come and work on my book, but the words weren't flowing. I was sort of stuck. And the advice for that is to change one thing, even if it doesn't seem to be aligned to the goal of where you want to go. So I'm not sure who actually said this. I absorbed a lot of stuff from a lot of teachers and wise people. And if you know perhaps who said this, then you're welcome to tell me in the comments. But somebody once said that when you are stuck in a relationship pattern where you having the same old argument with the same person over and over again, the way to break that is to actually change one thing. And you can still have the argument by all means and go through the paces, but change one thing. So instead of where you're normally arguing about this thing in the kitchen, you go and you have to go and argue in the bathroom, or one of you have to wear a hat, something like that. You change one thing which is not related at all to what's happening, but by changing that one thing, you change the energy dynamic. And so when you're feeling stuck in terms of energy, change one thing in your space. For instance, I created this new little nook on my desk where I'm working. I changed the plant, I changed the crystal that is in the plant, and I changed my ornament that is here. And just changing this little corner of my office changed the energy in my office and also helped me to get inspiration flowing again. So if you're feeling stuck in terms of you don't know what to do to reach your goal, or you're feeling just stuck, the inspiration, the energy is not flowing, change one thing, anything. It doesn't matter how big or small, and it doesn't have to be related linearly to your goal, because changing that one thing will change the energy dynamic, and it will start freeing the energy. And the other good tip in terms of this is just that's creating movement, because you're moving something in out of the space, or you're moving in space. I have a friend called Lundy Jack who actually calls it changing your frame. So if you see it almost as a, like a painting which is in a frame, the view that you're looking at as you're sitting at your desk is your frame. And then if you want to get new inspiration, then you change your frame. So you go and take your laptop and you go and sit at a coffee shop, or you change the view, you change what you're looking at while you're stuck, and that movement changes it. So you change one thing, anything. And that will help you shift the energy within your space. Change your space, change one thing in your space, change where you are in the space, anything like that. Or put on a hat. Even that will change the energy dynamic around that stuck feeling. So that is the third container that I wanted to bring to us in terms of discussing how your space can sometimes help you get you stuck, and how to get out of it. The last one is one that I actually lived this week, and it is: the universe listens to your actions and not your words. And your actions have to be in alignment with what you declare or want your belief to be. So I have been in real estate for, I don't know, more than 11 years. And although my purpose clearly was shifting in terms of moving out of that arena, I kept holding on to that real estate part of me and my position at this company because, for one, I'd worked very hard on making that career a success, and I was loath to let that go. I also had a lot of friends there that I sort of would miss, so there was part of that. But the most important reason why I kept that job was almost as a plan B, in case I needed an extra income or something. Even though I was no longer aligned with it, it was no longer my soul's path to be a real estate agent. And what I realized, I had this big aha moment, was that by doing this, by stating with my words that I trust the universe to guide my path and to support me, to guide me, to be there for me, to co-create with me this dream that I'm working towards. But my actions were not in alignment with that, because I was keeping this job as a real estate agent, even though I didn't want it anymore. I was keeping it sort of just, as a plan B, as a fallback. And what that was saying is, I don't trust the universe. I don't believe that I will be 100% supported. I'm not living that. And so it was every single day that I remained in that job without it being resonating with my soul anymore, it was actively demonstrating a lack of trust. And so the same thing applies to hoarding things, so when you keep stuff in your space just in case you might need it, or you keep those clothes that you no longer fit into because maybe one day you'll fit into it again, and then you maybe you won't have money to buy new clothes, or you don't want to spend the money to buy new clothes. And that hoarding comes from a wound within us where we feel we don't have enough, we're not safe, and we have to try and control all of the circumstances of our life, and we keep this stuff just in case. So if you are keeping a job, a relationship, a pen, a hammer, old clothes, whatever, just in case, that is actively demonstrating a lack of trust in the universe. And that is keeping you stuck, because that's going directly against what the vibration is that you want to embody, which is that of total surrender and faith. And so that is the fourth way in which our space can keep us stuck energetically and keep us from manifesting our dreams. So I do hope that you found this useful. Please let me know in the comments if you did, if you have any other ways in which you think your space is keeping you stuck. Maybe if you want to take action, tell me what you're going to do and how it feels when you do take that action. I know it's scary to let go of this stuff, but it is so worthwhile because we're raising our vibration and we're aligning our actions with our beliefs, and we're creating movement where there's stuck energy, and we're creating a space that is conducive to us elevating our life to that next level. And so if you want more stuff like this, there will be lots of videos coming. My spirit guides have told me, and I'm doing what they're telling me. I have surrendered, and we'll see where it goes. But this is me showing up with trust on my path, that taking that inspired action that I've been shown that I have to take. And I hope you come along this journey with me. So you can subscribe to this channel, hit like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and I will see you back soon. Keep safe, keep well, keep raising your vibration. Lots of love.